Time now for your forecast first. WRBL News 3 First Alert Weather.
Well, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, absolutely. This is the time to get out at Central Campus at Jordan Hare Stadium. All the students are like, hey, I'll walk outside to get to my next class. Absolutely. Look how beautiful the day is out here. We're looking great. Let's just show you the next several days here. Coming up, we'll start warm this afternoon. Tonight, we're going to see temperatures not as cool. That's some good news coming up because we are tracking a winter weather setup, but yet there's a lot of disparity. And we'll explain and break it down, make sense of all this. But we do have rain coming up in this first alert forecast, and it's coming as soon as tomorrow morning. You're watching WRBL News 3 on your side.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Straight ahead, senators in Washington are still debating federal voting rights legislation, but major obstacles still stand in their way. And next, with surging COVID-19 cases across the country, the White House is rolling out a program to help you get your hands on an at-home test. And a seat is up for grabs in the race for Georgia's lieutenant governor. We'll hear from one candidate after a Columbus campaign stop. News 3 Midday starts right now.
On your side, this is News 3 Midday.
And good afternoon to you, and thank you for trusting News 3 Midday. I'm Crystal Whitman. Well, Senate Democrats are planning to make a big push today for voting rights, though their efforts are widely expected to fail. Our Laura Podesta has more on why the bill seems doomed and what's expected later today.
The Senate could take its first vote today on a sweeping new voting rights law, but with no expected Republican support and 2 Democrats standing in the way, the bill is all but certain to fail.
Senate Democrats are under no illusion that we face difficult odds.
The bill would allow early voting, vote by mail in every state, and make Election Day a national holiday. Republicans argue many of the changes are not necessary and would in fact make elections less secure.
Weakening widely popular voter ID laws and making it harder to produce accurate voter rolls is not about making voting easier, it's about making cheating easier.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says later today he'll attempt a talking filibuster, forcing senators who oppose the bill to do so publicly. Moderate Democratic Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema blocked his original proposal to do away with the filibuster, allowing a simple majority for the bill to pass.
We should all support the right to vote, everyone, but not breaking the rules to make new rules.
Several major sports icons with West Virginia roots have signed a letter sent to Senator Manchin urging him to support election integrity legislation. Among them, University of Alabama football coach Nick Saban and former NBA star Jerry West. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
And Americans can now have COVID-19 home tests delivered to their door for free, and will also soon be able to receive free high-quality masks as well. Now, according to Johns Hopkins, more than 1 million Americans tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday. As cases continue to surge, the Biden administration has rolled out a new website, covidtest.gov, where Americans can order 4 free at-home tests per household. The White House is also expected to announce today that they will be providing 400 million N95 masks for free to Americans. And in the meantime, if you live in Columbus and you need a COVID-19 test, you now have 2 options for drive-through testing locations. The West Central Health District has opened a free testing location at Peachtree Mall on Manchester Expressway between JCPenney and the AMC theaters. And another location is available at the Shirley B. Winston Recreation Center on Steam Mill Road. Now, both locations will be open from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. on weekdays. Appointments are not required, but pre-registration is recommended. And a candidate for Georgia's next lieutenant governor made a campaign stop in Columbus on the campaign trail. Georgia State Senator Burt Jones is seeking the Republican nomination to succeed outgoing Lieutenant Governor Geoff Duncan. Former President Donald Trump endorsed Jones for his support in passing Georgia's Election Integrity Act. And Jones was hosted by the Muskogee County Republican Party at the Doubletree Hotel last night, where he spoke about his campaign platform, focusing on education and law reform.
Oh, well, I think I was talking about my platform, talking about election integrity, talking about our tax structure, trying to get rid of our state income tax, talking about our K through 12 education system, how we need to improve it, and also talking about law and order and how we need to back our men and women in law enforcement. And that's 4 key issues that I'm running on right now.
And Jones is one of several candidates who will be on the Republican primary ballot for lieutenant governor on May the 24th. There are also 5 Democratic candidates vying for their party's nomination. Meanwhile, over in Alabama, Governor Kay Ivey has called lawmakers into a special session in order to fork out more than $500 million in pandemic relief funds. The state has exactly $580 million remaining from the state's first installment from the American Rescue Plan. Lawmakers are considering a plan to steer millions of dollars towards water and sewer projects, healthcare costs, and broadband expansion. The governor's proclamation also calls on lawmakers to use the funds to replenish the state's unemployment fund and reimburse counties for housing state inmates. And a heartwarming story to share with you on this midday. A Columbus company is stepping up to the plate to help clean up after a local baseball field was vandalized. Generations of families have played ball with the West Georgia Dixie Baseball and Pioneer Little League in Columbus. Now, Britt David Park in North Columbus is home to Pioneer Little League. And Monday, the dugouts, the snack bars, and several walls were vandalized that you see right there and covered with spray paint. Now, Jacob Greer, the owner of the home improvement company Greer Solutions, tells News 3 that he grew up playing ball in the area and wants to pitch in to help out. Take a listen.
They say to whom much is given, much is expected. So the way I see it is if we didn't, being in the profession that we are, if we didn't extend our help, who are we, what would we be doing? Why not? So this is something that we can really take pride in and help out with.
And Greer says that the project will involve pressure washing, fresh paint, and new logos. And an organized cleanup is scheduled at the ballpark for January. That's going to be next Saturday, January the 29th, when all of the vandalism will be cleaned up there and painted over. And as we head into break, we want to thank you again for trusting News 3 this midday. Coming up, a new program is on a mission to teach fathers to be the best parents that they can be, one class at a time. But speaking of dads, first here is Chief Meteorologist Bob Jeswal. He's keeping a close eye on those conditions outside. Bob?
Oh, I know too well. It is. It's an honor to be a dad, that's for sure. Yeah, we're not always right all the time. But when it comes to this, we are. We'll take credit for the weather here because this is the good side of the system we're going to be talking about as we walk you through this extended forecast. So rain comes in for a wet commute across east central Alabama for your Thursday morning. That's all coming up. And you want to track ahead with us? You can do that. Stay connected right now with our WRBL Radar app through Google Play and the App Store.
on your side. You're watching WRBL News 3 Midday.
Well, parenting can be one of the hardest jobs in the world, yet it's a job that many are thrown into without any training. And this week's the Columbus Health Department is launching a class for fathers and soon-to-be dads in an effort to prepare them for their new role. Now, the Georgia Strong Families Fatherhood Initiative is a free 12-week program created to help dads take a front seat in parenting their kids. The curriculum teaches them parenting skills to help them play an active role in their child's developmental years. And these skills include everything from changing a diaper to some financial literacy as well. Take a listen.
As fathers, you know, a lot of times some fathers feel like they're being left out when it comes to different initiatives and programs. So the Fatherhood Initiative and our fatherhood program here in Muskogee County, we're trying to fill that void, trying to get dads to realize just how important their role is in their child's lives.
And here's some additional info for you. The program is for Muskogee County fathers from 15 to 60 years old who are parenting a child up to 18 months old. Now, sessions are offered from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. on Thursdays. Again, the sessions are offered at no cost and will be held virtually on Zoom. Now, for more information or to register for the program, you can head over to our website. That's WRBL.com. And we're glad to have you with us here on News 3 Midday. Well, don't go far because Bob has your full forecast coming up in 3 minutes. Stay with us.
Hurt by a big truck? 1-800-CALL-KEN.
One call, that's all.
On your side, Chief Meteorologist Bob Jeswald has your first alert forecast.
Let's go live right now. Oh, the Phoenix City Amphitheater camera showing us a few fair weather clouds. I'm going to tell you something. If you don't get an opportunity to get out today, boy, you are missing a lot. This is the afternoon. This is the time of the week to take full advantage, because let me tell you something, my friends, it is a great day today. And then we're going to get back into a winter pattern. And now let's break it down for you. Let's go right to this early Friday and into Saturday. We're going to be watching parts of the Deep South. Saturday morning is just kind of seeing the timing. Timing is good when it comes to our forecast model data. And as meteorologists trained eyes, we know that timing looks good. So timing is becoming a little bit sooner rather than later. Benefit if you have any plans on Saturdays could be a good thing. CBS, you're going to be watching CBS anyway. We've got a great basketball game going on. So here's the deal. Mild Gulf moisture overriding a surface area of cold air, freezing, sub-freezing temperatures is critical to watch. This will vary. And it will vary for a few different reasons, and I'm going to get into it through a few graphics here. Let's talk about this forecast Thursday. So we're looking at some rain first ahead of it. So this is the system that will direct that storm system for Friday and into Saturday early. It starts with rain. Obviously, look at these temperatures, mild. So this is good news. Good news. Friday, it's Thursday, excuse me. Thursday's all about rain in the morning to commute. So it looks like this. Yes, there'll be a little winter weather in the Midwest, not affecting us here in the Deep South. So here's your 6 o'clock, 5 Central in the morning, wet commute. Let's focus off the coast of Texas here. Here's a developing area of low pressure. To the north of it could be some sleet and freezing rain, even as far south as Baton Rouge, Louisiana. There you go, Crystal Whitman. And then as it lifts here in the southwest Natchez Trail coming out of Mississippi into Alabama, yes, right around Elmore, we could end up seeing, maybe even in Montgomery, little sleet and freezing rain early. This is Friday morning now, then changing back over to some rain perhaps. This could be an on again, off again throughout the day. Now the good news would be if it can at least stay above freezing. So what? Let it sleet all at once, let it melt. That would be good. That's what I'm looking at. Northeast Georgia, however, in the Carolinas, not so much because they got a lot of cold air there. And then here it comes in here. Maybe a little snow mix coming into Friday night because the air is cooling now. Could we get a little snow, a little freezing rain, Columbus, southeastward? That's a possibility. East Central Alabama looks like it'll start to dry, but that's the way the current setup would be. Saturday could end up being great. Wouldn't that be awesome? So the freezing rain setup looks something like this. You have precipitation types. I just wanted to point this out quickly so you understand. When you have rain with warm air coming in over areas that are cold, less than 32 F, that's what we're looking at. That's the key. Us meteorologists will be just watching temperature, period. If that happens, you get a little freezing rain, slippery roads, freezing at the surface. If it doesn't, let it sleet all at once because it'll melt. That's the good news, and that's why I'm happy to tell you this could end up turning out to be in our favor, that's for sure. So the evening planner looks like a lot of 50s. The rain comes in, obviously coming into the morning commute for Thursday. And for your first alert 7-day forecast, we're looking at rain here Thursday as a front comes in. A wintry mix I'm going to call for Friday. But we have to watch those temperatures at the surface. If they fall below freezing, we're looking at 36 now. That's in our favor. So this is a wait and see. Stay with the most experienced team. We've been doing it longer. We've been talking about this longer than anyone else. So stay with us here. Crystal Whitman.
All right. Thank you so much, Bob. You guys are experienced, and hopefully everything works out for us this weekend. All right. So stay with News 3 this midday. Ahead, why FedEx is asking to outfit its jets with lasers. That and the day's top consumer news for you coming up when we return.
on your side. You're watching WRBL News 3 Midday.
Well, there's a call to reduce plastic pollution from some of the biggest plastic polluters. Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Nestle have signed an open letter asking the United Nations to implement a global pact that reduces production of the material and increases recycling. Now, the plea comes a month before the UN's Environmental Assembly. The company said in a statement that now is a critical point in a global crisis. And FedEx is asking the government for a green light to add lasers to its jets to defend against incoming missiles. The shipping giant is proposing to add hardware that would throw off heat-seeking missiles. The company cited several incidents overseas where civilian aircraft were attacked. And you're watching News 3 this midday, and there's more for you straight ahead. Bob has a final check of your forecast coming up next. Stay
Welcome back for your first alert final forecast. A wet commute for Thursday. Nothing to do with winter weather Thursday. Just want to be clear on that. Some of this rain will be heavy at times coming in 7:30, 6:30 Central. So if you have to get up early tomorrow morning, there's a big change when it comes to rain, definitely. So the rest of this evening, it's going to be good. I mean, temperature-wise, look at this. We've got some upper 40s in the overnight, and then the rain comes in, Crystal. So there you have it.
Umbrellas and our cute rain boots as well. Thank you so much, Bob, and thank you at home for watching News 3 this midday. Make it a great day.